Thank you so much for coming. And just so everybody knows, we are recording today, but it's primarily to get this content so that we can put this on our website with our member login so that you can go back and look at it some more. If you have more questions, you can remember something that she said if you missed it. But I have the pleasure of introducing Tara Austin. If you guys don't know her, you should. She is on my hero list. She is. So ever since we met, I've always been so proud of watching her and just her business explode and her vision, and she is just dynamite. So thank you for coming today. It's awesome.
Thanks for asking.
I'm a huge fan. I always tell her that. She's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so she has, remember that we did collect some questions and some things. So she has really tailored today to meet the needs of the things that you all sent me for what she wanted to work on today. So ask questions, and if this spurs
Hi, I was saying, aren't you coming?
Yes. Sorry. That's okay. I have one more chair for you.
Okay.
It's not a problem. Hang on just a second.
No problem.
So I am going to turn this over to Tara, and I'm very excited for today. So take it away, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do we have a online, web, what do you call it? Can I get onto your internet?
Wi-Fi. You want to get on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Wi-Fi. Thank
Okay,
you.
so
That's the word I was
Yes.
looking for. See, I need to keep
You're
it.
looking for MACC on your
Office.
50, yes. And
Okay.
then your password is 5004. Are you at the password point yet?
Yes.
5004, capital M, lowercase ACC.
Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, but I only got a couple emails back, so I'm gonna start by kind of introducing myself, a little bit of what I do, kind of what my business looks like, so you guys can get a feel for why I'm even teaching on social media. And then I kind of want to get a little bit of a feel for all of you guys. Since it's a small class, one thing that I like to do is just I want you to feel like you can ask questions, you can interrupt me. I want to walk through everything with you guys since it's a little bit more of an intimate setting, and that way if you have like a question specific to you or your company, ask me, because okay, so my name's Tara, obviously, and I own Ruthie Grace Boutique. I opened Ruthie Grace in 2011, so it's been 8 years. February 11th was 8 years for me in business. My business when I started was going to be maybe 2 or 3 retail locations. Online was not really something that I had in sight because I loved the idea. I loved people. It's kind of the reason I really and truly wanted to be in retail. I have no retail experience. My degree was in animal science from Texas A&M, so I was just as green as they come. And I just love people, and I didn't ever visualize myself doing online. So it's morphed into what the business is today just because I've evolved with how things have changed and the trends. And I have watched social media change so drastically in the last 8 years. So a lot of things one thing I like to tell people when I get started is a little bit about my personal social media background. So if you know much about Facebook and where it began, when Mark Zuckerberg began developing Facebook, it was finally released to other D1 colleges in 2004. And I was a high school graduate in 2005 going into Texas A&M. So I qualified. So I literally have been on Facebook less than a year of its existence, a year less than its length of its existence. So I've had years of social media. My professional career has been cut on social media. That's something I brought into my business before I even opened my doors. So it's just kind of always been tightly woven within everything I do, within my business model, my marketing strategies, everything. So, and I love it because it's constantly changing. I don't want to ever perfect anything. I have not perfected this. A couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, I sat down. I have a social media marketing manager that works for me because we do so much. I don't want that to feel intimidating, saying that you have to go out and hire someone to do that for you.
This is going to be mine.
Okay. So we sat down and we were talking about engagement. We'll talk a little bit more about engagement. I'm not sure if that's something you guys are familiar with. But it's constantly changing. And we sat down, we went to a drawing board, straight up a whiteboard, and let's get creative. Let's figure out how to do it. And that's the thing about social media. If there is one resounding thing that I teach you guys today, is that you have to continue as business owners, which we all own our own businesses or work, right? Okay, here, I'm just making sure. Right? Yes? Okay. I think a lot of times it's really easy to continue to put on the business hat of like, this is a profit and loss, this is this, but we kind of forget to wear the hat of creativity, right? Because we lose sight of the constant innovation that we have to be relevant and stay ahead of the game and things like that. Or maybe you just feel like you're trying, but you kind of don't always look at it with those glasses. I don't know. But that's the thing about social media is you constantly have to be creating. You constantly have to be figuring out how to work it to your benefit. And so today, let me finish about my business really quickly. So I started with a brick and mortar location. Do you have a question?
Oh, no, no,
sorry. I started with a small brick and mortar location, 900 square feet. We started there, and we were in this little building in Historic Montgomery for 4 years. And then after 4 years, we moved into the old schoolhouse, which is a historic building in town. We were there for about a little over 2 years. The building was sold while I was actually pregnant with my second son, and we didn't really know where we were going to go. And at that time, I had been selling online for about a year. And that online store was really growing. And so we decided to move out to the Montgomery Summit Business Park. And so now while I'm there, I had a small 600 square foot retail spot where people could come in and shop. It was open my typical retail hours. And in the back of it, so I had 2,400 square feet total. The back part of it was offices and warehouse where we stored our online inventory. Well, our online store has continued to grow and has just doubled and tripled even over previous months. And so maintaining the storefront got really difficult with the growth of the online store. Our online store was putting out 35 to 40 products a week, and we couldn't keep that flow going in the storefront because it just didn't have the space, and it also didn't have the foot traffic. I still am a huge believer that location is key when it comes to retail brick and mortar. It's not just key in regards to actual visibility, but like ease of getting to where we're at. It's just not, people just don't drive out that way. And one thing I'll talk about too is the way people are today. We have so much noise fighting for our attention, and so people are busy. They're just constantly busy. People really just don't have free time. What is that thing? I don't understand that concept, right? And so you just have to be on their way to something. You have to be easy to access. And so when we moved ourselves from like the hub of everything, we really saw like a huge hit in our traffic. And it just became difficult to manage. So we closed down the storefront, 600 square feet there. But last week I received my official lease contract for my new location, which will be open next to the CVS in the development that Wade Nelson's putting out. So
On 105?
Yes, ma'am, across from Kroger.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that'll be open. It was supposed to be like last month, and then it was this year. So one day I'll be there. But it's
Moving
okay.
again.
Yes.
Ugh.
Are you keeping your warehouse space?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
stuff?
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so I will have, it's going to be really nice to basically have one business but two separate housed under two locations. They operate independently.
Yeah.
They function different. They have different processes that, they follow in order to stay on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so having them housed was super difficult because we were like, my inventory split. It's separate. I have two separate inventories. And so it was like double dipping and our inventory was off. It was way complex. And we just couldn't. We were trying, but we just couldn't do it. We were always letting the customers down basically just because it was such a, anyways.
See, basically, yeah.
So,
It's
it's hard.
off the floor and then.
Yeah. It's hard selling. Is that what y'all do? Y'all sell off the
Well,
floor?
I haven't, because in the antique business it's different. I mean,
Sure.
I could do it with gifts, I
Sure.
think, and things like that, but with antiques it's just, you only have one, so
Right,
what's
yeah.
the purpose? But I have thought about doing gifts and other merchandise. I would love to do that, and I'm hoping maybe Sis can help me.
Yeah. So, my goal today, the thing about social media is I don't even know how long I'm supposed to be here talking. How long am I supposed to be here talking?
Oh, we can have up to an hour and a half.
Okay. I could talk all day about it. My point is it's so complex and there's so much to it. It's not just posting a picture. And I think, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you guys, but maybe that just might kind of be the mindset that you have at this point. Sure, I can post, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more complex. There's so much more thought process that goes to it. If you want to see social media perform the way it's intended for your business, there's a lot of concepts that have to be kind of grasped. So I today am really just going to kind of lay the foundation of like what we focus on, what we think about first before we do anything else. At the end, I will briefly talk about running ad campaigns and what that's done for my business, how we run giveaways, why giveaways work for us, all those things. But the key to all those things is you have to understand the foundation for what social media, what the purpose it serves before any of those things will ever work. If not, you're wasting your money. Okay, you don't want to just go boost a post to get more likes because that's pointless. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to see a return on your investment, right? Every dollar you spend needs to be able to say, did this work for me? Did it produce fruits like I wanted it to, or did it not? And so I know that, especially in a small business, when you're working on budgeting and marketing, I mean, every dollar, every penny counts, right? Mm-hmm. And so you just don't want to be just throwing money to Facebook because they'll happily take it. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I have no idea what your idea was that you're coming in to learn, but I'm just going to talk to you guys about what we focus on when we focus on social media, okay? So it's social media skills, right? We're going to just learn the skills and foundations. We're not going to do it?
That's okay. I think you've got a better idea.
Because everybody knows, am I right? Everyone knows how to put up a post?
No, well, I do, but not an effective post.
Okay, that's what I'm going to teach you.
Okay.
That's the goal here.
Yeah.
I don't want you to just walk through your business and be like, here's my coffee and my newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's going to be more to it than that. Because if you want people to talk
There's
back
so
to
many
you.
layers.
There's layers, right. Okay.
Well, just Tara, real quick, can I ask you,
Of
will
course.
we have an opportunity to ask you specific questions? Sure. Okay, I'll be like, okay, this is a real stupid question. But
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
We're probably all wanting to ask the same question.
I will say this, when I talk, you will probably start to notice that I speak a lot more about the social platform Instagram. That's just where my current target audience is. For me as a small business, the things that I sell are visual, right? Close. So therefore, I focus a lot on Instagram. I have Facebook. We let it operate. It's just kind of on autopilot in the background. You have to have Facebook in order to run ads because Facebook owns Instagram. And so we let it operate kind of just on its own. It's there. We do a lot, but a lot of the same principles that apply to Instagram also apply to Facebook, right? And so I may show you guys some examples. It's all going to come from my Instagram feed, but just know that these same foundations still apply across all social media.
I have one question between Instagram and Facebook.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's got a lot to do with your target base, right?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about target audiences.
Different ones.
I think so. I think a lot of
there's
there's overlap for sure, but so one of the things that we are going to talk about is finding your target audience and how important that is to know. You got to figure out what platform they're hanging out on, right?
Right.
So somebody in here may be a Twitter person. I mean, if your group's on Twitter, then it's still going to apply. Twitter's still going to work to all these principles here, right? Not so much visually. But just from my immediate knowledge, I will say that Facebook and Instagram to me are the two hotspot social media platforms that everybody's on. And if your target audience is not on Instagram yet, they're going to be.
Yeah.
Facebook will always be the foundation. They'll always hang out there because they own everything. But they are fighting. They are fighting for people to stay on their platform. How can I see that? One thing I'll talk about is you follow what the platform wants you to do. So they control what you see, right? It's the thing called algorithms. So I'm going to talk a little about, Facebook introduces algorithms. So when I first opened Ruthie Grace, I could post a picture and every person that followed my page saw my picture, always. And I was just selling things like that. Well then, once Facebook got bought out and they were trying to monetize, they were starting to bring in ads. They had to figure out, okay, well, how can we make people want to pay for our ads? What's the point of an ad if everybody sees everything all the time? Well, then they started introducing what is known as algorithms, and algorithms are how they display what you see in your feed. You probably follow a couple hundred people personally on your Facebook, or maybe more than that. You don't see everything they post all the time. Maybe every now and then you're like, what's Sally been up to? And you go look at her feed and she's been posting like every 3 hours, and you're like, I haven't even seen any of that. I had no idea you had a baby and got a divorce. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know because you just don't see it. But we rely on the social channels to keep us up to date with the people that we're interacting with, right? Well, algorithms are based off of how you interact. So maybe you just watch Sally from a distance. You don't say, love, oh, congratulations on your new baby. Yes. So now Sally's just, and Facebook says, you don't really care about Sally. Yeah. You know, we're just not going to show you her stuff. But Justin Timberlake, you care about his new album. I don't know, you know, and you're commenting and liking. And so they're going to.
So it has nothing to do with follow or unfollow or?
No, not really.
You have to comment.
You have to comment, like, you have to be active.
You have to be active. The more active, like that never changes. The more active you are, the more your business in general will be seen. But you have to be active on your personal side, not necessarily.
There is my issue right there.
Yeah.
Separating the personal from the business.
The thing about social media is you have to remember it was created for it is built on human interaction. Always. So if you walk into a room and I just stare at you, eventually we're going to turn the other way and we're just going to stop staring. But if we're talking and we're engaging and we're touching and we're hugging and we're showing emotions and conversing back and forth, the conversation's going to keep going. It's going to keep, and the relationship's going to be knit tighter and tighter. These people that are following your business are like your friends, so you have to treat them like that. When you look at it from this perspective, you have to say, I'm going to not necessarily interact with you as a potential customer, but really and truly how I would interact with you if you were my friend, which they are. I mean, if they show interest in what you're doing, they're your friend. So the algorithms are based off of interaction. Does someone like your page? Not just like it. That's the first interaction. Are they liking your post? Are they commenting on your post? Are they sharing your post? There's so many things. Are they doing the action? So in analytics for business, you can see if you have a certain post, you can see sometimes the number of actions that somebody did. So like on Instagram, when you pull up Instagram and there's one specific feed, they can like it, which is the heart, they can comment on it. There's actually a little ribbon feature that they can save to a collection. That's also an interaction that they're doing within your page. On Facebook, they can share. They can share the post. That's another interaction. The more people are interacting with your feed, the higher tight knit that your social platform is going to say, this person cares about what you're doing, therefore we're going to keep showing up. So once that kind of was introduced, that's what also led to ads, because now they're saying we're going to only show what you're doing to the people that interact with you. If you want to reach the people who maybe follow you but don't interact, you need to pay us and we'll go back in front of their face. Okay?
But that's only going to last. That's not going to do anything, because if they don't start interacting.
Yes and no.
Right.
So yes and no. And I'll touch on giveaways a little bit and how that kind of
how to get them to interact. That's
yes.
the goal.
And I'm going to talk about calls to action. And so the mindset that you need to have with every post, that way you know that you make sure that you're getting people. Because that's the thing about just post and go. It's not just sharing a picture. If they have no follow-up, if you haven't told them what to do, then they're not going to do anything. Right? So, okay, let's keep going. Briefly, why social media? All customers are on social media. It's your front line of communication, and it is a customer experience. You have to think of social media as customer service as well, right? You're going to fight for your customers. You want to give them You want to give them customer service. This is customer service in all forms. It's not a fad. It's here to stay, and it's a relevant form of communication. This is how you are live communicating with the people who could be potential buyers or customers in your business, right? It's key to leveraging traffic in store and online. It is the latest and greatest of what's going on in your business. If you're running a promo, if you're having a grand opening, if you're doing anything like that, people will find out about your business pretty much quicker on social media than they would necessarily with sometimes a website, sometimes email marketing, things like that. It shows relevancy and live response time for users. I have somebody on my staff who literally part of her job is to answer messages and direct messages, respond to comments, and interact with people. On my Instagram platform, we currently have 71,000 followers, so that it has now become a full-time job, right? It hasn't always been that way. It's only been the last 6 months since I hired her to do these things, but we can watch the person come up to us with a question, the question get answered, and then immediately make a purchase on my website. So the thing is I talk about noise. If we can't respond to them and we let it go for days, I'll be honest, I don't like it even to go for hours. People will get distracted. Their kids need their help. They've got to get back to work. They're not on their lunch break anymore, and then we've lost the opportunity to make the sale with them. So you just have to, but I also want to say there's balance in this, in the sense that you have to turn it off. Okay?
That's
for years,
for
years I've lived with it on. I'm not going to say that I regret that because I feel like my business has grown because of that. But if you plan and you strategize, and you can make sure that those things happen. Marketing strategy. I think some people think marketing, and I don't even know, honestly, because I said I cut my teeth on this. Marketing strategy. This is finely woven within everything we do marketing-wise. It is a part of the plan. When we plan months and content and strategies and promos, when I look at my calendar, we know exactly if we are today, we just launched like a sale on our website. The sale code goes live at 8 a.m. The email goes out at 8 a.m. The post goes live at 8 a.m. The story post goes live at 8 a.m. Like everything is all, and we planned all those graphics leading up. So as soon as it goes live, everything is done in tandem, in sync. And so it's not in addition to. So when you're thinking about the things that you're going to do to market your company, it's not like just a plus. It should be woven through it all the way. And social media ranks just as high as SEO. I know a lot of people want to spend time on Google Ads and SEO. I spend $0 on SEO or Google Ads. Zero. I spend all my marketing dollars on social media. That's it.
Interesting, actually.
Huh?
That's very interesting, actually. Well, your traffic ranks you high, right?
Yes. So when we work on SEO, we work on SEO keywords in our descriptions, our product descriptions within each individual product for our website. But I don't actually go out and pay for sponsored ads with Google at all. I haven't. So I spend all my money retargeting my customers for social media ads and influencers, so bloggers.
You pay for them?
Yes. And they are not cheap.
Nope.
Okay, so a couple myths. I feel like it's important to kind of debunk some of the myths that maybe you may think, but you may not realize you think. Just not supposed to go. It requires strategic planning with strategy. You have to have all platforms. This is not true. You don't have to have LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. You don't have to have all these things spread across all these places. No. Find 1 to 2 platforms that work really, really well. Put your eggs in that basket. Okay? And to be honest, in the next 5 years, there'll be another platform that's up and coming, and we're all going to have to learn it too. But for now...
I have a question about that. I was told exactly the opposite. I was told not to post the same thing on Instagram as I do on Facebook.
That's
but
correct.
It's so you don't do that. It's so easy to link them, and they just both go to both places.
Correct. I do that. I will stand here and say that is what I do. But that's because I really don't, honestly, I don't care what Facebook does. Like I right now, I put all my eggs in Instagram. So when I look at my posts and everything I do, I only have the eyes for how is this going to perform on Instagram? That's it. and then Facebook just goes on its own.
Okay.
I do not, if you look at my referral traffic on my website, of my social traffic, 86% comes from my Instagram platform.
Yeah.
You said you
Instagram seems
do, you
easier
do
to me.
both you do the same ad or the same post on Instagram and Facebook? Okay. I couldn't
It's
figure
just
out what you were
because there's a link, it just doesn't chew with
And it's easy, and so that's why I do that. So I let it operate on autopilot. I let it do its own thing. And we just hang out there because we want to show that we're still around and that we can answer, but it's not, I don't even do Facebook stories.
Right, yeah.
I don't.
But you do still answer, like if you
Yes.
get stuff on Facebook.
Absolutely.
You are still there.
We have to have Facebook to run the ads. So Facebook houses basically what's Business Manager, and it's like this entire platform that houses how you run the ad campaigns. It holds your audiences. Your audiences are the people that basically you're going to send your ad campaigns to. Facebook also houses what's called their product catalog. So whenever I put things on my website, I can tell my website also sell to Facebook. You can buy on Facebook, right? And so through those products that people are buying is how I can turn around and run my ad campaigns. So I have to have it in order to run the campaigns. But I don't focus on it.
I feel like you just dropped a bomb on us all just with the 5 seconds that you just said all those things. My face is like, oh my gosh.
Oh, not having to be everywhere?
No, all of the inner working tools of the management inside Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very robust. It's very
I know
complex.
that, yeah.
And it goes above and beyond, honestly, brilliance and being a genius. Like, it's so complex. So when I run ads, I don't actually build out the ad campaigns myself. I pay a company to do that. And that's a great tip of advice for anybody.
And is this company within Facebook?
No, ma'am. They're like a third-party company that I pay.
Oh,
like a
Social
monthly-
media company.
Mm-hmm. And all they do is build my ads. I'm the creative behind the ad. I'm saying, hey, I'm referencing my stock quantity. I have surplus of this particular item. I know that it'll fit for this customer with this pain point. We'll talk about pain points in a second. I want to make sure I build an audience, meaning I want the people that are delivered this campaign to look like this. And then they build the ad out for me, and I say this is my marketing budget, and then they build the campaign.
And you do the same thing for, you were talking about blogging, you do the same?
So for blogging, I do all the influencer marketing, and when I say influencer marketing, bloggers are influencers because they are in the marketplace to talk about products and product reviews to encourage people to buy. It's kind of like they're, they do word of mouth testimonials. Basically, trying to give a testimonial about a product.
They have huge amounts of followers and people listen to them, and so then they're like, oh my gosh, I got this thing from Ruby
Yeah,
Grace,
I've
and then
seen-
like all of a sudden these
I've seen this, I
people-
have some of this, but I've never thought about it, to tell you the truth, you know? I mean,
So
till
it's
this,
like- So it's like if I okay, let's talk about this conversation we're having right now. Try it every way you can to look how it replicate in real life. We're talking about this, I'm talking about social media. I told you about this company that I pay to do my advertising, and you're like, well, tell me about the company.
Mhm.
So now, right? So we're exchanging information. I'm giving you a referral. Influencers, that is their job to do they're basically there to push the customer over the edge to kind of say, I've tried it, I love it, you should too.
Mhm.
Right? So when I talk about social media and how it should be just like a conversation with a friend, the conversations that we have in this room, you almost have to think, how can I replicate this through the internet?
So where do I find these people? Like this
Well,
is...
That's a good, because some of them are scam artists.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, anyway, maybe this
So
is
you
another
know your
class,
bloggers. You
So yes and no. We kind of do a lot of research on them ourselves before we actually enter into a contract with them. We'll watch them, watch their stories, see how people interact with them. A lot of them have like management companies actually that kind of represent them from a legal standpoint. Like so they have managers that set up the contract and exchange terms and payment, negotiate all those different things. So they actually have deliverables.
some people will come to you and say, hey, I will do this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are usually the ones that are not going to do
Yeah.
this.
Well, cold calls are always the wrong place to go. I know that. If
So-
you're searching me out, then that's an issue.
Right.
So can you give us an example, or can you give me an example? Everybody else may already understand this. You have a blogger who promotes Ruthie Grace.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have a particular item that is just only can get at Ruthie Grace, or what's going on here? How do they promote you?
Okay, good idea.
What do they do?
No, great question. So pretty much what we'll do is they would look at our website. They would find products that they like. They tell us their size, and then once we enter into a contract, we kind of give them the deliverables, as I would say. So basically, you have to do this many. A lot of times they'll do try-on sessions where they'll put on an outfit, talk about how it fits, show the fabric up close. Then they also have a discount code, so that way we can track conversions.
Good.
So they use the code, so their followers would then see them wearing our outfits, go to our website, use their code, therefore we can track the sale. The thing that can get kind of hard to navigate is making sure that you have basically conversion links showing that maybe the sale did come from them to us, because social media links just show they came from Instagram. It doesn't show necessarily what profile account it came from. So typically we not only do we exchange product, but if they have a large following, we also pay them for their time. It's just like an ad campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. A magazine advertisement, TV commercial, however you want to look at it, it's the same overall concept. So, excuse me, sorry. Don't know who that is.
And so if they're blogging for you, so they say, okay, yes, I love this outfit, I'll write it up, I'll do a little video or whatever. How long does that stay online?
So if there's a picture in the post, like in our feed that they posted, then obviously it hangs out there as long as people will see it. But if we do it within stories, which is their try-on session, that's only live for 24 hours and then it's gone.
Wow.
Unless they save it, there's a way to save that to like a profile, like highlights, where it basically hangs out in the profile, as long as they leave it up. But yeah, so yeah.
Okay.
I can just run ads. Ads don't work if you don't have good content. You'll lose money. More followers equals more money. Coming from somebody like me who has 71,000 followers, it may sound silly for me to say that because I do have a large following, but it's really true. Followers don't mean sales. You need a strong community that buys into your vision. So they don't care what you're selling, following you will do you no good, right? If they don't buy into what your brand or what your business represents, then it doesn't matter. So, one really good example is we like to think that all of our friends are always going to be our business supporters, but when you start a new business and you're like, oh, follow my page, and they follow your page but they don't buy, there's a perfect example. Like, that doesn't mean they're not your friend, that doesn't mean they're not valid, it just means just because they follow your page doesn't mean they're going to buy, right? So you want to make sure the people that are following your page are truly, truly, truly buying into whatever you do. I can sell by pitching my products alone. Nope. People don't just want to see your products. They want to know that you have value first. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
That they are valuable. People want to see that
They are valuable
first.
And you too.
Uh-huh.
Vice versa.
Well, here is another question that I have for you, because you talk about interaction. So somebody goes in and they like and they start following your page. What do you do in return? Do you go to their page? Do you like their Facebook?
No, not necessarily.
So the only interaction you have is if they ask you a question, you answer it right away.
And on the posts.
And on the post.
Each individual post is where we interact with people.
Okay.
And through our private messages.
So they will post on your page?
No, not necessarily. They can. And if they do, they tag us in so yes, so it goes both ways. So if they tag us in pictures of them wearing my products, we always comment on their posts, tell them thank you, you look great, we love the way it looks on you, all those things. We also do things like Sunday shout outs where people who are wearing our products, we repost them so that way we can show not just our model wearing our products, but also too, we communicate with them. Like, we just stay open. I do a lot of personal stories on our Instagram of just me, talking to people, and so it's not always products.
Mm-hmm. So you said they don't post on your website?
No, we don't have posts on the website.
So they email you?
So it's through social media. So they would post their own picture and they would tag us.
Where? Oh, on their website? On their Facebook?
Mm-hmm. And then we get a
But
notification.
if you don't, Okay. Because I'm trying to
I know,
figure this out.
understand
You don't like their page, but if they post something about you on their Facebook page, you're notified. How? How
Because
does
they
that
would tag us. They link us to the product.
Okay, they have to do that. It's not like they just put, hey, my buddy, my friends and family, look and see what I'm wearing. I got this at Ruthie Gray's.
They can, but we wouldn't know.
Right. Okay, so they have to tag you.
Mhm.
How do you encourage them to tag you? How do you
So
do
by
you do that?
No, so you can't go access their profile. So they have to do it themselves. So by we basically, the Sunday shout outs that we do where we show people who have tagged us, they will see that we're doing that. So therefore they'll want to say, hey, I want to do that. I want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a part of that club.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I see. Okay.
Is there an approval process for somebody who, okay, so they post on their site and they have tagged you.
Do I have to approve the tag?
Right.
Instagram, I don't believe that there's any kind of parameters that you can allow a tag. Facebook, there is. You can basically go in and set the permissions to where people can't tag you in things if that's something you don't want.
Can it be case by case? I mean, I'm just.
To where you would have
You
to
can
approve
remove
it.
it, I think.
That's what I'm saying. You can remove the feature to be able to tag. You can set those permissions.
Well, if you have it on public, can't you, like if somebody tags you and you get that notification, can't you go in and like remove your tag if you don't want it? Like just
I
say
believe on
it's all
Facebook,
good.
I'm not sure a feature like that on
Okay.
Instagram. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tag picture may not always be a positive review.
Right. So when they tag you,
Mhm.
okay, they tag Ruthie Grace, you're notified of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't automatically go onto your website.
No,
Okay.
so our social media is not linked necessarily to our website. They operate
I think
independently.
I mean Facebook. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm. So it is automatically put on your Facebook page, or it is not. If
It
they
is-
tag you.
If they do, if you have the permissions set within your your settings.
Settings that you can choose.
Right.
Either
Do
option.
you?
Yes.
You allow all tags
Yes.
to go onto your Facebook.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Mhm.
there's I see that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good.
Social media is only for new customers. I think we have a lot of, sometimes it's easy to think that it's just all about like getting more wider net, but really and truly it strengthens brand loyalty through the social platforms. So focusing on the people that have already showed up for you, right? The people that have already showed they want to know what you're doing or they bought your products. It continues to strengthen that relationship. So this is some quotes that I made up, but I wrote, social media exists to engage, inspire, and encourage your community. Show up for those who love you.
And that's true. I mean, I don't know. I can attest. Like, whenever I respond to people who comment on my posts, I mean, they come in, and a lot of times I'm there, so I know like they'll introduce themselves, or even when they'll shop and they'll spend all of their time at my store and then come to the register, and they'll say something kind of, and it's almost, I swear it's like a hint to see if I know who they are.
Yes.
That's almost what it feels like, but it's like, yeah, I remember, and then we just kind of, I don't know, we make like
The real life connection.
yeah. And then they're more likely to, I don't know, keep doing that. It makes them feel good.
Personal. Right?
That's important.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Messenger. You
Yeah.
have to have Messenger.
I recommend it because I think that's it's an extension of your customer service experience. I think people really expect to be responded there. We try to push everybody to email because it's just easier for us to manage and prioritize email. Messenger, it's kind of like, it's
It
just,
could be very overwhelming.
yeah, it's a reactive form of communication, right? So they message you and then it's like, I gotta answer them now. Email's a little bit more proactive, so you can say, I'm gonna answer emails from 8 to 10 in the morning and get back to people, and it's just kind of, people don't really expect a response via email immediately, but with Messenger they do. So therefore we try to send them all to email because it gives us a little bit of time to navigate even what they're asking us, especially if they come to us with a problem. which is probably 85% of the customer service emails, right, is a problem. So I do recommend having Messenger, yes. And people can actually walk themselves through an automated system on Messenger. If you, it's been a long time since we've set up the navigation, so I can't recite it off the top of my head, but you can actually find keywords in their messages that they may send you that can actually auto-populate some responses for them, to where you can send them like links that they may be looking for. Like someone says, I have a question about a return. Well, return is the keyword, and therefore it would auto-populate the return policy to our website. So,
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I have a lot of people that. What are your rates? You know.
and that's a very
Where are you?
complex.
What do you do? You know,
Question.
I just say I can't stand it. And I mean, I get most of my messenger things are like that, so I really want to take it off because you know, on my website, it's where I get most of my leads. It says what's your business? What do you do?
Right.
And where are you? You know, how do you want me to respond to you? Email, visit, phone call. And 90% of them are email. But I've got all their information. I know who they are. I've looked at their website. I can tell what kind of business they run. So, I mean, it's just wonderful. So that's why I need to get onto that social media. But the other one, what are your rates? Need some more information.
Can I ask a question? Since, how important do you think a website is these days?
100% necessary.
Critical. I know
Really?
that. Yeah, I do know that.
Okay.
Because social media is it's like your day-to-day it's like your daily website, but it doesn't house all the information. Your policies, your terms, your form of communication, all those different things. Even if I was not using a website to sell, and this is one of the things that I regret for not having for years, until I had an actual website to sell on, I did not have a landing page website that housed all the information about who I am. That can all be on social, but people really, they do navigate through the profile to kind of get a feel and a grasp, of who you are, but your website has the ability to have so much more.
Okay.
Especially too with the ability to house what I call a lead magnet. So like an opt-in opportunity for people to leave you like an email address in exchange for something else. So our opt-in right now is basically 15% off code on your first purchase if you give me in exchange for your email. Side note, you don't own social media. You don't own it. It can quit. It can shut down. A couple weeks ago, we had like a full social media shutdown, and that hit our sales by like 75%. We dropped like 75% in sales in one day. So my advice is social media, while it is a great tool and you should leverage it as much as possible, you don't own it. You own your email address. You own your email contacts.
So everything's driven to your website. Okay.
So I would make sure I own my website. I own the contents of my website. That's an asset for me. If I was to sell my business, sure, I could use, to make it sellable, I could say I have this much on social media and this platform's already built, but it's not actually like a tangible asset that someone can, that makes sense. So, because it could quit overnight and it would add no value. If I haven't spent time collecting information about my potential customers and all I've done is just try to build my social media platform, then if something happens and social goes blank and quits, or Facebook goes belly up, what do I have?
You start from ground zero. So you don't have to do it right now. Do you have a recommendation of who could build?
Build a website?
Okay.
I have a question also. So, two actually.
Sure.
One, when you say you own your website, like what do you say about places like Wix and things like that will kind of like template-based websites? Yay or nay? Or do you
I think
go
WordPress
straight through? Like, I've done it one way and then looked into Wix because I kind of let the other one go because I was a little overwhelmed.
Sure.
So I paid someone to build my website from the ground up. And why I let that go, I don't really know now. But I've looked into Wix recently, and it seems pretty straightforward. I just don't know if it's worth it because I've always had the
What is Wix?
mindset.
You build your own?
Wix is like a kind of, but it's like a
Is it like
platform, I
WordPress?
guess.
Like WordPress?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my website is actually built off of a template, so I
Okay.
didn't pay somebody to build out my.
To go from zero.
So my
Okay.
website's housed through Shopify, which is like
Oh, yeah.
e-commerce. I love Shopify. I think it is one of the top e-commerce platforms in the nation. It's just the resources are just vast, and
Okay.
so I have the ability to
Okay.
integrate with a lot of different other.
Okay, so template based is okay because it's
Oh,
cheaper by
It's cheap.
a
Do
lot.
what's cheap. Don't feel like.
Yes.
I think there's this mentality that you
That's why I
have to
haven't
spend
done
20
it.
grand on a
Like-
website. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But it is vital that you have one.
Yes.
And the second question I have is how necessary is selling on the website? Like that, the e-commerce on the web, like having a website is one thing. But then managing that inventory and keeping up with all of that, and all, like that is what gets so overwhelming. That's what made me
Start with just a website.
Mhm.
Okay.
Start with just a website, and if you want to sell on social, sell on social.
Okay.
And there's lots of opportunities to have integration that basically can come into your social media platform. Integrate. They build out a dashboard that's already done. So the companies will be up and going. To where you can basically sell through comments on Facebook or
Yeah, I think
Instagram.
I have something like that.
So,
Somebody
but
else did.
still, always have a website.
Okay.
That's a mistake I made. I hope you learn from it. Okay, so today's goal: map out a real social media strategy so you can put it into action and begin building a real following that leads to real revenue. Come on.
I have a quick question. It goes back to Instagram, but do people buy for you personally? Do they buy straight off Insta, or do they go to your web? Like they see it and they go to your website? How do they
So
buy?
for about 3 years, we did social selling only, where we sold just from our social media platform. Where people could like comment kind of like their PayPal, you know, and then we would go get the products and then the invoice they pay and then we'd send it to them. But we basically totally went away with that when we started having the website. So people cannot buy from social media at all. They have to go to my website.
So they see your picture, and do they click on it and it goes to your website, or they just find it? Okay.
It depends on if the product is linked in the picture or not.
Okay.
So you have like WooCommerce or something like that that you could
WooCommerce
check out.
is a very similar, it's the exact same product as Shopify.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
When people buy from you, do you allow them? Do they need to make a, username and password to shop on your website? Do they continue as guest?
They can do either one.
Either one. Okay, so you do give that option. That's good.
What about through Amazon?
I'm sorry?
Does Amazon, do you sell through
So
Amazon?
Shopify is basically, it houses my inventory for my website. And within Shopify, I have separate selling channels. So one selling channel is my online store. One selling channel is Facebook. One selling channel is Pinterest. So Shopify sends my products. It houses all the same inventory to the individual selling channels. So Amazon can be one of those selling channels
Okay,
if I wanted it to be, but I don't do Amazon.
okay.
But the website has that opportunity to be feasible if that's something that you're interested in. So I can't say much about selling on Amazon. I don't know.
Where's your market, Kara? Are you worldwide? Are you
Uh,
global?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do sell overseas. Obviously, the majority of my business is within the United States. We do sell quite a bit to Canada, actually, which is surprising that we probably have 1 or 2 Canada shipments a week. So we're used to selling out those custom forms and all that stuff, but we've never done a map to see what other countries we've been sold to, you know. I'd be interested to see that, but the most of my markets, Texas, California, and Florida, actually.
So I find it really interesting. So you have a picture on here. It's not linked. Like your product's not linked, and they just go to like, and the link isn't like Shop Ruthie Grace is there, but you have to like copy and paste it. I guess.
Where?
It's not.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
because
in
I'm
the-
auto-populating to Facebook. So when it goes over to Facebook, Facebook can hyperlink within a post. So if I
Right,
wasn't sending that to Facebook, I wouldn't write shopruthiegrace.com. I mean, I say that in there that way if someone
So they know that it's but
it's easy to remember,
I
right?
find it really interesting that they go through the trouble of like going to
Right.
your website.
What's really
It's not
interesting.
trouble, but you know what I mean.
Right.
It's,
Left. Okay.
okay, keep going. Sorry.
She has a super good product.
Keep going. Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go through this. I'm on step 1 and I have 8 steps. So we will kind of stop asking questions for a little bit so that way I can get through these, and then we'll try to finish up. So I want to make sure that I answer any questions that you might have. Okay, first, step one, make a good first impression. First handshake. When people look at your profile, this is like introducing yourselves to them and telling them exactly who you are. So a good, firm handshake is so important when you're meeting somebody, right? And so you want to make sure that you have a good first handshake. Always look at your profile with fresh eyes. What do new followers see? Your profile, when they see it, is it the most relevant info that they need about your business? You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be stagnant. You need to be constantly changing your profile information. Your profile picture. If you are a business, so I'm a business in the sense that I sell basically a product, not so much a service, then I need to make sure that my profile picture is my logo. Okay, because people need to be able to associate with that business. If you are selling a service, you sell yourself as a person. You are selling what you have to offer to somebody. You are the salesperson behind everything that goes on. They deal with you personally. Then you need to have a personal, professional picture of you yourself. That's just how I think. People need to be able to say, who am I dealing with, right? If I was to have a personal picture of myself on Ruthie Grace's page, people would be really upset when they get an email from my general manager, McKenna, and they're like, no, I want to talk to Tara. Well, I can't do that. So that's why it's they need to be able to know that they're dealing with a business. Your cover photo on Facebook, it needs to be up to date with your most current promo and events. It is the largest picture that they see, well, not really as much anymore, but it's one of the larger pictures they see when they go to your Facebook profile, so it needs to be changed all the time. What's going on? You're running a sale? Do you have an upcoming in-store event? All those things, always. Because that's what you want to draw their attention. You want to know, they need to know exactly how they can get in touch with you and where they can find you. Your bio. Does it tell your community how you can help them? So this is where the value comes back. They need to know what you're good at, right? It's important and imperative for people to know that you are an expert or a thought leader in your industry. Susan, why would I buy antiques from you versus antiques from so-and-so? Well, you need to talk about how you specialize maybe in a specific style or trend or what your eye can do, things like that. That's important for people to know, okay? Moving on, your headline. So your headline, like what you're actually, Ruthie Grace Boutique, Shop Ruthie Grace, that is like the handle that you find on our Instagram. That is actually the only searchable field for social media. So you can't actually search within the individual post or the bio, but you can search. If you go search Ruthie Grace Boutique, my website and my Instagram profile and my Facebook page would also populate in those top searches. Okay, so make sure that whatever name you're using across your website and your social platforms is all the same. Our website is shopruthiegrace.com. Our Facebook page is Shop Ruthie Grace. Our Instagram is @ShopRuthieGrace. Everything is cohesive and consistent. Your body. Tell your customers what value they get from you. I really wish that I could like toggle between my actual.
That's kind of what I was doing.
Yeah. Okay, so the body. Tell your customers what value they get from you. So in my body for my Instagram, the first phrase that I have is well-styled fashion. So I really pride myself on the fact that my clothes, my outfits are styled. I don't just put up stock photos. I spend time basically creating the vision of how the outfit's going to look and feel on my customers. So that's the value they're getting. They're getting well-styled fashion. I could say women's clothing, but guess what? That doesn't give them any additional value over another store, Red Dress Boutique or whatever. That's another big online retailer. And then I also put in there owned by a mom. That's important. I try to relate to my customer a lot. So if you're a mom my age, really trying to figure out how to navigate how to style and dress your body, postpartum, during your pregnancy, all those things, I want you to know I got your back. I've been there too. I can relate to where you're at. And then I said operated by incredible women. I wouldn't be this business would not operate without the girls and the team behind me. So therefore I want to make sure that I don't ever portray that I do it all by myself, because I don't. The personal touch, that's another thing. What makes you unique in your industry? So if you work off of price, if price is something that you are known for, you're known to be a good price, I have friends who own a boutique and they say nothing over 50. So that's their value. People know that they come to their store, they're never going to buy anything over $50. And the call to action. This is so important because I think people forget that you actually have to tell them exactly what to do. It is amazing how you can put everything, you can put so much out there and people are still like, how do I buy from you?
Right.
How do I do this? How do I do that? Your call to action. What do you want them to do? And I put, so we have new arrivals Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then I have like the emoji hand down saying, click here. We just launched a sale on sales, so I said take 50% off the sale collection. I put the code in the bio and I have the hand emoji, this link. Always, this link. So that goes back to your URL. You should always link them directly to where you want them to go. Okay, here's the thing. I am selling products, right? So my goal is to get them to the website, not to see what's called a hero image. Your hero image is basically like when you land on a website and you have this big monster of a photo that kind of like introduces people to who you are. Our website for a long time, that was like all you saw on the landing page. But then to get to the product, you had to navigate to a different page. Well, I learned my mistake and I said people are then having to do an additional step to get where I want them to go. So now my landing page has the hero image and then right below it, guess what? There's the products I'm promoting. Right there, right out the gate. They can know exactly where to go. Always. If you're running a giveaway and you want them to enter in this giveaway, take them directly to the giveaway page.
It's really annoying when people don't do that. It's like, I'm trying to help you.
You're trying to find it, but you can't find it.
Stupid contest, the win the thing contest. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want you to win the contest, but I don't know how.
Okay, social media is visual. Your image must encourage people to want to check out your entire feed and become interested in what you have to say. Every picture is a collaborative effort to work together to get people to keep scrolling. You want them to scroll. You want them to keep being interested in what you have to say. So one individual picture should be so enticing that they're like, what's the other picture look like? You want them to hit that arrow and just keep going through, right? So it's really important to work on your visuals and make sure that people can see clearly what you have to say.
And you're talking about Facebook
And Instagram.
and Instagram.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Step number 2, perfect the photo. This is like so important to me, and this kind of is something that I sometimes just want to shake people and be like, your pictures are not good. I'm sorry if that's going to offend anybody in this room, but it is so important. Your pictures have to be good. You have to know how to take the pictures. iPhones are normed. Every picture on my website, besides my big hero images, are taken with this iPhone right here on this table. I take every picture on my iPhone. It is a resource that you have that is at your fingertips. There are so many apps too. Apps are king, okay? Editing apps. You take the picture and then you edit it. You learn what good lighting is. I know you guys may not be photographers, but there are some really simple key practices that I would spend time practicing and learning how to know how to edit your photos and how to take the style of photos. That's important to spend the time doing those things, right? Because social media is visual, you gotta have good photos. There's the rule of thirds. So basically, you want to make sure that when you look at every single frame, you divide it kind of into thirds. And you don't want your subject or what you're trying to sell to take up the entire, so basically it's like 9 frames within a photo, right? So you have your 2 and your 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So there's 9 individual panels within a photo. And you want to make sure that your photo or what you're trying to sell does not take up the entire 9 frames. You have to have what's called this blank space to draw people's their eye visually into what you're trying to sell. Okay, so when we do styled shoots for our website and we have a lot of stuff going on and the model standing amongst whatever all this stuff is, those are great visually for the website, but they do not sell my products immediately. That's why if you actually go to my website, you can see that I basically use I use a blank background because it makes the clothes stand out amongst the background.
Do you use any of those other shots?
Yes, we do. We use them on our website because they are beautiful and grand. And we do use them, but trial and error. I just know that those blank backdrops work. And that's another thing too, is pay attention to what works. You post, do a test run. Take one product, same product, style it one way, take a picture, post it. Style it another way, take a picture, post it. What do people respond to more? You've got to learn to know your audience and what they're looking for. If you struggle with graphic design, you can use Canva. Canva is what I did this entire presentation with. They have thousands of templates that you can go in and drop in different words and fonts. It is an amazing resource. Because I know that graphic design, like if you, for like a sale or whatever that you want to do, it can be really hard to basically go into Photoshop and create that from scratch. There's just, Canva's a great resource. I highly recommend it. Blank space, so don't overcrowd your photos and know what your audience likes. What is your most liked photo? If you walk away today, go find your most liked photo in your analytics. Figure out what picture people commented and interacted on the most. How can you replicate that? That's what you need to be thinking. How can I replicate what people are already showing up for? Step number 3, let's talk about hashtags. Hashtags are so important. I think sometimes we kind of have this idea that they are annoying. And I feel like that way sometimes too, but they're super important. Hashtags are ultimately like a search engine, right? So if you touch a hashtag, it takes you into this auto-populated category of every picture that has that tag. So include the relevant tags that are a part of what you're doing. We sell clothes to women who are moms. We sell clothes to other women too, but I always use the hashtag, what is it, Motherhood Uprising or something like that. It's a hashtag that kind of got created by a group of people that owned a motherhood business. So I hashtag every picture with that, basically, so if someone's searching that hashtag, they see our clothes. So it's relevant to them.
I need to engrave a hashtag on my forehead. I forget.
Yeah,
It's so
hard.
crazy.
I've never even used a
That's a
hashtag.
pound sign, right?
Yeah, thank you. I just, it's very frustrating to me.
And don't you need to use like at least 5?
I'm sorry?
There's something about 5 on hashtags. Does it matter how many you include?
So I use 30 for every
30.
single
Okay.
picture.
Do you change them up?
If I feel that they're becoming stagnant and that people aren't interacting with them, then yes, or I'll try and change up just to see if it can change some things, but I've pretty much stuck to
They're
what,
just like
I
the
mean,
same.
right now my hashtags have spring fashion in them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to change that when it becomes
Right.
summer and fall.
Okay.
But other than that, I stick with pretty much the same ones.
And so when you do that, where does it go? What does it do for you?
Reaches people.
So
Okay.
hashtags are kind of like they're like your support. They're like your bra straps, kind of, you know? So the way they work is when you're trying to beat the algorithm says, Facebook, this post is important. People need to see this post. It has a lot of relevancy. It's important for my customers to know. The more hashtag you can say, it's important in coffee. It's important in creamer. It's, you know, if you're talking to a coffee shop, it's important in latte art, or, you know, you're trying to tell the social media this product has importance in this category, it's important in this category. Hashtags are categories.
So if someone is doing a general search on Google for coffee or creamer or something, your website will come up?
Nope,
So how does it work?
only within the social platform.
Okay.
I wish I could. Give me 2 seconds.
When
My
you
head-
say hashtags are what? Are
They're like your bra.
okay.
They're your support group.
Because
Because people search hashtags, and when they search hashtags, they like them. The more likes that you get on a photo, the more relevant social media says your photo is. The more relevant social media says your photo is, the more that it's going to be shown to the people who already follow you.
Okay, so how many in here have searched hashtags before? 1, 2, 3, 4. So less than 50%. I've never searched a hashtag. Why would I want to do that?
Because there are people that are what I call hashtag crazies, and they just want to go out there and like the photos.
Okay.
So you just want, like, it is important to get the likes on your
Oh, I
photo.
know it is.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand the
Stand it.
reason why.
So like
you know, what is
you really like chocolate labs, like puppies or something. So you're gonna Google it, or you're gonna hashtag in chocolate lab puppies, and you're gonna see all these cute pictures of all these little puppies, and you're gonna go like them because you love puppies.
so
It's just like
images?
a keyword search.
It's a niche.
Images. I know it's a niche. But I mean images, Because she's saying
On
chocolate.
Instagram.
Yeah.
If you
So
go
it
pound
links-
chocolate,
Yeah.
Labs. then
Yeah.
only pictures come up?
Yes, on Instagram.
Not necessarily. So Pat,
What?
you can use hashtags in Facebook as well.
Uh-huh.
So think about this. Think of it as like a category search, almost like a bookmark. So if you
That's a good
did
bookmark.
hashtag coffee news, if somebody were searching for coffee news,
Uh-huh.
every post that someone put hashtag coffee news in, no matter who did it, no matter where in the world it happened, it's like putting a little flag up that's got the same keyword kind of all tucked in together, and all of a sudden it'll populate from everything in the world of Facebook. It'll populate in one long list for you, everything that had that exact phrase together. So it's
And
a
I
search
remember
engine.
you and Phil telling me that. So I went to like Google and I did hashtag coffee news. So and that evidently didn't work. So I go to Facebook.
Any social media platform.
So I
will
go on to
really use
where
this.
do I put it? On my on my Facebook page. Where do I put?
Search.
Huh?
No, you post the picture, then you
Oh.
post the copy. So let's say you are posting a picture, what's the month? May's newsletter is about to hit the stands, or I don't know what you would say. And then you would hashtag coffee news, hashtag newspaper, hashtag da-da-da-da, like all the different
So
relevant.
after your comment, you do hashtag.
I think I've got a good grip on how to do that. What I'm trying to say is,
Searching.
yeah, if so
You
somebody
just go search in the search bar.
Yeah.
search in the search bar,
Mhm.
pound.
So
coffee
here's
news.
Instagram. I just went to search. All I typed in was start typing in labs of Insta, and I didn't even finish. And the top hit is hashtag labs of Instagram.
Okay.
There are 6.1 million posts with that hashtag on the picture. And
Okay.
you touch it, and then it pulls up all
Just
these
like you said. Okay.
The cutest little puppies ever.
It's, and all these are different people that have been posting these pictures of labs.
No.
But I'm in the market for a chocolate lab, and I don't care where I buy the chocolate lab. I can buy them anywhere in the United States, but I want AKC, all the different registrations. I want that, so I'm going to search. So this is how I'm going to start searching.
Well, and your hashtag is the same as a competitor's.
And then
So
each
if
one of
that's
these
gonna
goes
come
to a
A different
Facebook page.
This is Instagram, but it's the same thing.
Okay, Instagram.
It's a
Okay.
post as opposed to an entire entity.
Uh-huh,
So it's
uh-huh.
an individual
Okay,
post.
no, I got it.
You
Thank
don't own the hashtags.
Thank you.
Nobody
That
owns the hashtags.
Clears
The pub-
things up for
Yep.
me. Okay, good.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
support. So when you boost engagement, it creates support that beats the algorithm. People just like things that are hashtagged. They do. They like it. If I didn't have the hashtag, my post performed about 60% less. So I
Yeah,
just
see,
know
I don't really do a whole lot on Facebook with hashtags, but I do absolutely on Instagram.
I don't do any on Facebook either.
You don't either, okay.
Because I just auto-populate my post with my copy goes through. Because I do 30 hashtags per photo, I put the hashtag as an additional comment on the picture,
Ah, okay.
not in the original.
And it still works the same way?
Yes, ma'am.
And it would work the same way on Facebook as well if you did it?
I
or you don't?
believe so.
Okay.
I have to test
I
it.
didn't know that.
Social media has the power to impact your business, but only if you show up to serve your community. It's all about telling your story. People want to connect with a person. So we talked about the difference in profile pictures, but I feel like you should really start to believe you should personify your business, right? Who is your business? And this goes back to your target audience. What age are they? What are they doing at 8 p.m. on Thursday night? What does their mornings look like? How often are they in the car? Things like that. Like you have to really say, like, who's your customer? What does their life look like? And how can my business take on that persona? Tell a story, the where and why. You started for a reason, and you do this for a purpose. Make sure you communicate that. Outside of just the products you sell, you have to tell your story. Your target audience, what do you specialize in? What is your customer looking for? And do you know what they are struggling with? If you don't meet your customer at their pain points, the things that they are having a hard time, you have to solve their problem. How can you solve their problem? Develop a brand story. This is where I said become a thought leader by your experience, your passion, your struggle, and your victories. You have to communicate that through social media for people to want to resonate with you, for them to want to build a connection. That's where it goes back to, this is not just posting a picture of what you sell. It's really developing the story behind the brand and the reason you do the things you do. Your content.
Why?
Your why. Your content is basically your image plus your message. They must correlate and redirect back to both. So if you had just the text, your message, would it entice people to look at the picture? And would the picture by itself entice people to want to read the message? You have to make so those go together in one post. You have to make sure that they talk to each other, right? Step number 5, plan. Success comes from strategy. Delegate someone to maintain the social media workflow. It's time for you to be reliable. Reliability is key. You can leave here, get really pumped up, get excited, go post like 8 times today, 3 times tomorrow, and then come Wednesday you don't show up. Carve it out. Plan the time. It's I would say that hiring someone who, I don't know if hiring somebody is where you're at right now, but this is kind of a tedious job that can be easy for some people just to spend a little extra time responding and answering. For someone that wants to do something remote, this is an easy thing to delegate out if you can't seem to carve it. Step number 6, tagging is key. This is where we talked a little bit tagging. The more people tag you in their photos, the more you tag people in your photos, that shows social media that this post has relevance. It deepens the connection with each photo. So here again, we're working on beating the algorithm. We're working on telling social media this post is important. Please make sure you show it to the people that follow me. Geotagging for location is also super important. So every time I post, I also geotag. I basically pin the location in which the product was taken back to my store, or maybe I'll do like Montgomery County. The geotags work in the same way that the hashtags work. So you can actually search by a geotag and you can see all the pictures of people in the area.
I've never heard of a geotag.
So tagging your location.
Oh, okay.
Same thing. Mm-hmm.
And when you tag, are you tagging actually it's going from individual to business. They say don't be on your personal page, or I hear don't be on your personal page and only talk about your business, or limit some of that. I think my confusion comes where, am I posting as me, as Casey, or am I posting
What do you do?
I make name badges.
Okay, so that's kind of a hard question. I think I separate out my personal with my business. I talk about my business from a behind the scenes aspect on my personal, but I don't ever really try to sell people too much on my own personal page. I think getting started, maybe, if you're are you a one-man show right now?
Yes.
I think so. I do think that people can become, I try not to mix business with personal. I don't want people to feel like if they come to my personal page, the only thing they're going to get from me is my business. That's my personal opinion. I would say separate them out. I think you can encourage people to go from one platform or one profile to the next, so that way they can keep up. But I think keep them separate.
And when you comment
Thank you for asking us.
when you comment on something, are you commenting it as a person or as a company? Like,
If someone comments on your on your business page, is that what you're saying? Like,
no, like if you want to comment on something, and it is not necessarily business related, are you commenting as yourself? Are you commenting as the company? I guess it would.
Can I interact here? This is the reason why I'm not active on Facebook, because I go to MACC and I want to like something, and it will not allow me to like as Texas Coffee News. I can only like as Patricia Preen. Now, when I started, I had to have a personal, so I went ahead and put up a personal. I had clients and readers going to my personal page, seeing me in my bathing suit with my grandchildren, and I didn't like that. So I stopped, I cut that out. So how do I do that? How do we keep our personal off of our business. I can't close my personal.
I can tell you a little bit that Facebook has gotten better about that.
Yeah, they'll let
When
you
I'm
choose
on
now.
when I'm on a page, there's a bubble at the bottom now on my phone that says you are posting as,
Or
and I'll see
interacting as.
and I'll see my own profile picture. If I see my profile picture, then I'll touch that, and I can toggle back and forth to be Montgomery Area Chamber. And when I write, it will come up as Montgomery Area Chamber. That's if I'm in the normal news feed. Now on my phone, I have a Pages Manager. When I'm in my Pages Manager, I am the admin of Montgomery Area Chamber, and that's all it thinks I am. It doesn't try to be Shannon anymore. So when I comment from my Pages Manager, not in the news feed, but in my Pages Manager, then it thinks it does come up as Montgomery Area Chamber.
See, everything you just said, that last 20 seconds, I have no idea what you're talking about.
What I
Admin
would do-
page, this, that. That's
What
why
I
I'm
would
saying
do-
I'm like,
So you have
If
really,
you're on a
to
desktop,
enhance.
I need some real basic training.
you should
on
probably
this.
play around on a desktop first because it's a lot more user friendly,
I
and
have.
then you can.
I have.
The mobile,
I've gone
you know.
through it. I don't understand. It's like reading Greek.
Mm-hmm.
You know, manage page, do this, do that, and I just
There's a lot to know on it.
meaningless to
That's
me.
for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot to know on it.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that question. Now I know I still don't have an answer. For years I cannot get that answered. I don't know
In
what
short,
the
I would
deal is.
separate out the two, make sure your personal is private, and all the people that follow you in your
I've got it.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. You look up Patricia Crean, only Texas Coffee News comes up. Nobody else can find my personal, but I can't like as Texas Coffee News. I can only like as my personal.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Step number 7, a call to action. Every time you post, you should have a call to action. What do you want your customer to do next? So this is where it's always an ongoing conversation with people. So when we post new arrivals, we'll say, new. Have you checked out our new arrivals? Question mark. We're asking them, have you checked them out? They may be like, no, I'm gonna go look now. Make sure you always have a call to action. Sometimes it can get hard for us when we're posting 5-6 times a day to constantly be coming up with questions to ask people all the time. I don't always do it, but because sometimes my creative bank runs dry. But it's really important to make sure that you are always having a call to action. Here's our upcoming open house event. Are you coming? Question mark. And then people say, me, with the hand up emoji, me. Okay, guess what's going on? Now you can reply back and say, oh yay, can't wait to see you, excited to see you there. And then the more conversation that you have within the post, the more relevance the social media knows your post is, the more people see your stuff, and then you're working the algorithm to your benefit.
So what you're saying is those interactions are way more important than just commenting to a person. It is helping Facebook to get you
For
higher
sure.
in the visibility.
So you want to make sure that you also respond to those people. We have tested this out. We have had call to actions, ask people to basically answer us, and we let them answer because it's maybe a generic answer. It's like, which color do you like best, pink or navy? And then they say pink, navy. We just let those comments go on, and we don't come back to all the people. We let it. Well, then social media says you're just fishing. You're just out there trying to get people to interact with you. You're not actually having a conversation with anybody. It's one way. They want to see that it's both ways. So even if we just respond back with a little kissing emoji, glad you like the pink, that's all we do. But we're still interacting with people. We let them know that they are seen. People want to be seen and they want to be known, So try to treat people like that on social media.
That's cool.
Okay, so when can I run ads? Here's the thing, I feel like for perfecting this foundation is key, because if you don't know what people interact with, if you don't know what pictures people are liking, if you don't know what gets the most interaction on a weekly basis, then you don't know what to run ads to, right? You want to run ads to what people care about the most. You want to put your money all in that basket, that way it can have a conversion for you. So when you spend, people will buy. Every week I go back and I look at my top rated posts on Instagram. I see what people interacted with, I see what they commented with the most, organically, on their own, with no money spent. Then I go look at what product was I trying to sell. And 9 times out of 10, that is the best selling product for that week on my profile. I mean, on my website. So typically what I will do is I will then go back to my vendor. I will reorder that stock in that item only. When it comes back in, I will then deliver an ad to my audience for this specific product. And then they will buy. Because it's basically, I've already kind of tested the waters. I know what they're willing to do. And when I run an ad campaign to a product or a post that has its own organic engagement, meaning I didn't do anything, it's just people just for some reason gravitated towards it. It's almost like it's my own little viral post within my own community. They will higher deliver the impressions too. Because whenever you pay for an ad, you kind of have this very wide range of, we will reach, it'll be like 13,000 to 54,000. And you're like, well, I want to be on the upper end of that. Well, the way to be on the upper end of that is finding your post that people have already organically interacted with, right? Okay, and then giveaways. I'm just going to touch briefly on giveaways. The thing about giveaways is the easier it is for somebody to interact with you and enter, the better people will enter. It's just the way it is. If it's just a like and comment, like and tag somebody on this picture, it's super easy to do that, and people will just do it because it takes no time. So don't be afraid to do the giveaways. Giveaways are big, right? But people won't want to enter your giveaway if they don't feel like what you are offering has value. You know what you have to offer has value, but if you haven't communicated that up until this point, then nobody will want to enter the giveaway, right? So, because it really does take a lot to tag somebody else. Like, like a lot of times we just don't like to be tagged in giveaways. We're like, oh gosh, why did you tag me in that post again? Stop, But every now and then I'll get tagged in a company, and I'll go, and so when I get tagged, I go back and I'm looking at that company's Instagram or Facebook. If I need to be able to see as a potential new customer the value that they have to offer me right off the bat, right out the gate. So that's the key here, right? So if Amy goes back to the first impression.
So it's not necessarily the giveaway that's valuable, it's your profile.
Yes, that's the key. That is like the big takeaway here. It's not, no, but it is, because people need to land on you. They need to land there, and they need to see who you are, and you only have like 15 seconds to win their time before they're already distracted and moving on to something else. So every single post has to have an intention. Every post needs to have a call to action. Every picture needs to be styled. I know that it can seem daunting, overwhelming, and you're probably walking out of here like this heavy feeling going, oh, I gotta get my act together. But I promise you, if you spend time,
No, not at all.
and it can be very strategic.
I have a lot to do.
So,
Do you recommend any tutorials or anything for somebody like me who just
I
needs
do
to
know
know the
that
basics?
Facebook just recently came out with a full, basically course that you can walk through, I believe, and take to learn kind of the basics of the platform. I mean, really and truly, if you just go to Pinterest or Google and the basics of Facebook or something like that, you can probably find some people that teach some courses, really show you how to navigate the platform. And I do recommend doing that. I recommend spending some money and learning how to navigate it, because like I said, it's not going to go away, and it's only going to get harder.
Well, I don't mind spending money on it, but even my IT person says, no, you have to like as an individual. So let's say if you want your business, Ruthie Grace, to like MACC's website, how do you do that? How would you do that? You said you don't like your personal out there either. So how would you do that?
Well, I would.
A page can like a page.
Huh?
A page can like a page, but it's really hard. I would have to. So I'll be totally honest. I haven't really done a whole lot with Facebook lately, personally. Instagram is different. I can be on Shop Ruthie Grace in their Instagram, and I can do everything a person can on Instagram. So I can go and comment as Shop Ruthie Grace on any personal page or any business page as Shop Ruthie Grace, or as my personal, I can do the same thing.
Okay.
So it's not like Facebook where you have a business page and then you have a personal page. They are separate, but they function the same.
But they're not necessarily, you don't necessarily have the same followers and follow the same people.
No.
Right? You don't.
Right.
But that's not critical these days anymore, is it? The followers and so forth. It's the interaction right?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's still important to grow your followers, and that's definitely something you want to work on. But you only want to make sure that if you're getting new followers, that they actually care or are interested in what you buy. Like it's, you don't have to go out there
Like
just
the paying for follower thing. Like I've never really.
don't do it.
understood why
It's a waste of your money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would focus on the people that have already shown up for you, the people that are already saying, I care, I want to know what you're doing. I would literally just cater exactly to them, because then they're going to go out and say, okay, so you do name badges. It's like the name badge you have on right now. Okay, so if we're having a conversation, I say, hey Casey, I'm Tara, how are you? And we talk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a cute name badge. Let's pretend hypothetically it's a different company. You're like, oh yeah, thanks, I got it from, what's the name of your company?
Starburst.
Okay, oh, it's right there. So I got it from Starbucks. I'm like, oh really, that's cool. And then I want to be able to go look at their profile. You should say, you'd be like, okay, I saw this really cute one the other day that I was wanting to get for such and such. I saw it on their Facebook profile. And then I'm going to go, oh, that's really cool. I want to go see what you're talking about. So then I go and I look. So that kind of makes sense. So like if you are, that's why I said like focus on the people that you already have and continuing to build that, strengthen that relationship. So that way they are the ones that go out and hypothetically sneeze on new people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like word of mouth, but but electronically. It's really, it's the same thing.
Well, guys, thank you so
Tara,
much.
thank you. That was
You just
great.
opened the world, and our minds have just turned into screaming.
When's the next class?
Well, I tell you what, I was already thinking about this because I knew she was going to blow our minds. So I'm going to follow this up. I'm definitely, I'm going to invite her back, but I'm going to do a webinar where we can just dive into some crunchy things where you're on your desktop or your whatever, and we'll do side by sides, and you can just start clicking on stuff while we're talking through it, and we can take all the time we need, and you can do it in your PJs. So that's how we'll do that.
That would work for me.
You know?
Yeah. Would you do that for us, Tara?
Email.
She's like, I'm actually teaching a new mastermind course that I start next week. It's a 6-week webinar program with a friend of mine. So it's all about retail. It's a retail mastermind. So yes, I just have to get through these next 6 weeks.
Now, where can I get access to this?
So registration for our course is already closed, but we will be doing another round, probably starting in the fall. So it's literally going to come from like inventory planning to social media marketing to.
So how do I get this through
just
Grace?
Follow me on my personal accounts where I promote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Good.
Will it be a different time?
I don't know, maybe. That was a conflict that we had with a lot of people.
Okay.
We want to be able to teach it live because it really helps with
Yeah.
people being able to ask questions live. But
When is the time? What do you?
right now, because Victoria was going to take it, it's right now it was Wednesdays at 9:30.
Oh.
I said 10 to you, didn't I? I said 9:30.
No, my call's at 10, so I think you said 9:30.
Yeah. And it's like a 2-hour course for 6 weeks. So it's a pretty in-depth course at a lot of layers.
Try
But
one day.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
like cash flow management.
You can't do it all.
stuff like that.
Yes.